So welcome. We are here. We are at Miss Baby Meats. In case you can't tell,
I was
you're like barely. You have to
one.
lean in.
He comes strolling in.
I'm exactly on time.
Well,
that's the thing with attorneys. We're always on time. Wait, no, that's wrong. No, that's completely
on our time.
Yeah.
on our time. Oh, that's what it is.
Always, you're always timing. Maybe that's what a lot of people would accuse you of.
There you go.
You're always running the clock. So we're at Miss Baby Meats tonight. Tips from the bar. It's our weekly foray into a little bit about us and a little bit about the law. We always open ourselves up to questions that people have. And if you're watching later and you want to post a question, we do go back and check. We get a little notice, and we'll try to answer your questions. We can't answer super specific things, but if you have a general question about something you've heard, maybe something you're dealing with, we can generalize it usually for that.
And if you do want us to ask specifically, we do free consultations. So
sure, not on,
but just not on live.
Right.
Yeah, just not live.
Maybe someday we'll get little video conference things.
That'd be interesting. Yeah.
Well, we can do it. They've
got
Skype and they've got Zoom, which is I guess another one. I think it's called Zoom, something like that. That a lot of people are using.
I'm sure I've come across Zoom.
That seems to be a big player right now.
I've actually done
video
conferencing with like Google Chat. Like I've done
Google Chat,
separate offices. Like I met with somebody in one place, I was in another place.
Yeah, it's becoming a
different
bigger,
towns,
bigger
not
thing.
just like in your room, not in the office next door.
No, that's becoming a bigger thing. It's something that I think is.
It's really big in immigration because you don't have to. It's federal, so your immigration attorney can be licensed in any state. So
that's
even
better.
Yeah.
Isaac joined us online.
Yes, I am.
Thanks,
Let's see if I can.
Thanks, Isaac.
Yeah, I try to do my
join
part.
people, and
Yeah.
again, it's a night where I can't connect to people.
Jordan should do the same. Yep.
I don't understand why it's hot and cold. Tonight is one of those nights I can't.
Just don't hit the red button.
I can connect to the country of Jordan.
Oh.
But not to the person of
Maybe
Jordan.
There's a lot more
let's
people
connect
there.
to the country.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
immigration.
Or
open it
Jordy
up.
and Jack's barbecue.
Jody and Jack's barbecue.
I don't know where they are.
We should just start doing that. Just pick a business that
Just
starts or a
randomly pick
country
people.
that starts with Kurt, Jordan.
Kurt. Is there a Kurt country?
Kurdistan.
Kurdistan with the
P,
T.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Get them in here.
It doesn't quite work. But
Bring him
All right,
bring him
Jordan,
in.
bring Kurdistan. They're welcome
you probably
to
better use my
watch.
last name,
So I can
Kazakh, and
I can tag Apple Life, which I did.
Kazakhstan.
Kazakhstan.
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah.
Tag them all.
Why not? Get everybody on here. We're going global.
We're going global right now.
So, what's new in everybody's legal practice this week?
In court today,
Anything?
hence the tie.
I was going to say,
And
there's only one
yesterday,
person that's
hence the tie yesterday. I think somewhat. He's got a tie on.
It does.
So,
Gotta keep.
Very nice.
Yep.
Probably the least stressed down. Least stressed out.
I like though. It's got a neat pattern on the
It
back.
does.
So fancy.
All black.
It is.
My
Yeah.
favorite.
All black.
such a grunge.
I can tag Kathy Chelovich.
Oh, that's my mother.
I think she'd like to be involved.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can tag
I'm going to speak
Jordan.
on your mother's behalf and say she'd probably want to know about
There you go.
this. What her daughter's doing.
You can't tag
So,
me?
no.
That's so
No.
weird.
So
We
strange.
can't tag ourselves.
Maybe someday someone will help us.
But
with
there
this.
was, like, when we
Maybe.
dropped the broadcast last week, and I came back on, I could tag everybody.
Even me.
Yeah,
Me.
no, I think I did. I
Even
think
me.
we.
Very
It's
we always-
everybody or nothing.
I usually tag people who aren't here as on assignment.
Oh yeah, you do. I'm not sure.
So what I've been dealing with a lot is the big difference between upkeep of an LLC versus the upkeep of a corporation.
All right.
There are big differences between those. And something that I've been confronting because I'll get somebody who just they're curious about even the differences between LLC and corporation. One of the big things is following corporate formalities.
Right.
Something that we've all heard a number of times that includes piercing the corporate veil if you don't keep up those corporate formalities, which there's a much lighter burden when it comes to LLCs. So LLC as a limited liability company, it takes about 20 minutes to start up in the state of Indiana. You get $97.14 for state filing fees, and you get your EIN.
It's much more expensive in Illinois.
Much more expensive in
Yeah.
Illinois. Oh yeah, that's $500. So
Yep.
Much more labor intensive too, as far as upkeep and maintenance and all that.
Oh yeah. And so your LLC, it's a great place to start because it's also really easy to convert For $30, you can convert your LLC to a corporation then. So if you're like, well, let me just test it out. Let me just see what's up, right? You're looking at $150, or $130 really total to go from the LLC if you want to decide to move into the C corp. Even though you can tax your LLC as a C corp anyway, but in terms of formalities, it's a lot easier. Right. It's a lot easier. There's one agreement that controls it. It's called the operating agreement, and that kind of controls how you operate. And that's really all you need to function to operate. Now, that doesn't mean for an LLC you shouldn't keep records and all that, but when it comes to a corporation on the other side, after you've decided how many shares you're going to give out, and you actually give out those shares and do a price unit to them, and after you submit it with the Secretary of State, you have to still do an initial meeting where your shareholders adopt bylaws, as well as a shareholders agreement if you have one of those. Multiple shares or multiple shareholders, get a shareholder agreement. And then you got to upkeep it too, because even after that initial meeting, you have to keep records. You have to keep meeting minutes. You have to make sure you're doing resolutions on all this. The upkeep on corporations is just a lot higher standard, and that right there can be a good reason not to just jump straight into the corporation if you're not ready for it, or if it's not a burden you want to handle at this time. So anyway, that was just something that I've been dealing with that I kind of want to just give a shout out. And if you have any questions about those, feel free to reach out.
Interestingly, I'll piggyback off of that. I saw an interesting article the other day in regards to this whole tax stuff coming out. Specifically in relation to businesses. Apparently in there somewhere, for smaller to mid-sized businesses, it will eliminate the deductions. It's like business cards, you buy business cards or you buy office supplies and things like that, being able to deduct that. It's going to eliminate that. But it raises the individual standard deduction from like $6,300 up to $12,000 or something like that. Okay. So you're getting an offset there, where somebody was complaining about potential to hurt small businesses, where somebody's making like $45,000 a year in their own little small business, and before they could deduct $10,000 worth of expenses, now they're
ordinary business expenses.
Now they can't. But then somebody commented on it, and I'm going to preface all this by, I have no idea. I haven't read the darn thing. I'm just saying it was interesting that he said, but also don't forget that they're upping the standard deduction. So it's like $24,000 for couples, or up to $12,000 and change for individuals. Right. And that will offset for those small businesses, it will offset some of the extra benefit.
The concept behind that is you don't have to file a 1040A
to
get the deduction.
It's going to save it so much.
Go to whatever form it is they decide to do, and you don't. I mean, there's a lot of people that do things that are deductible, and then they don't deduct them. And so it's charitable gifts a lot. People will, I'm giving charity, and then they don't deduct it. So it's not like you really did anything. So it'll be interesting to see how it shakes out. I think the other thing they're trying to do is press people into more formal structures of LLCs, because there's a lot of people that do sole proprietorships, which are not really the best way to do a business, because it's just you're fully exposed. You do a Schedule C, it's a mess. So having done that in the past, so this way you're separating your business entity, and it's all over there. And again, with some of the changes that happened over the last couple of years, they're trying to get that taxation done at the corporate level too, instead of passing it down and doing the pass through partnership sort of taxation.
And I'll do a quick a 101 in terms of business organization. So let's say that Kurt by himself decides to go start selling lemonade out on the side of the road. That's all he does. He just literally makes lemonade. That's right.
It's pretty well.
Little red wagon.
Yeah, little red wagon. 10 cents a glass. He's got his sign up.
The fees for all
his wife. Well, that's good. That's good. But Kurt just decides to go out there and start doing this. He has suddenly become a sole proprietor. Now Jordan becomes his partner, starts working with him. Instant partnership. So even without talking to the state of Indiana, anything, they have now formed a partnership by just working together. But in both circumstances, they are personally liable. Kurt working by himself is called a sole proprietorship. He is personally liable. That means if somebody gets sick off his lemonade, they could sue him and get to his house, his car, his Beanie Baby collection. I think it's delicious.
You have to smoke lemonade going.
Smoke lemonade.
This is a great time to bring it up around Christmas time with like a lot of local artisans and people who make like Christmas gifts. They might not think that by selling the stuff that they should form an LLC, but I mean, this is like the perfect time.
I'm trying to remember to
talk about it and maybe to remind people who are creative and sell things that maybe you need to protect yourself.
Yes, and so what you can do is you can go to the Secretary of State of Indiana and just say, hey, I want limited liability.
You don't have to really go to
you don't
go to their website.
You go to the website. It's really simple. Knock on the door.
Hey, is the secretary here?
Can
I talk to the Secretary of State, please?
Is this the secretary and the secretary?
Is Connie there? So anyway, but yeah, you go to the Secretary of State website and you just ask him. You say, hey, I want limited liability. And they ask you a few basic questions. You pay your fee. And at that point, you have now begun the process of getting limited liability to protect your personal assets. You still have to respect even the forms that you have to fill out. And you still have to make sure that you're keeping good records and treating that business as something separate. And the way I always phrase it, if you want a court to respect that as a separate entity, you have to respect that as a separate entity. If you're commingling funds and just using it as your personal bank account, no. That right there opens you up to personal liability. You are piercing the veil of liability protection that you have. They call it piercing the corporate veil. Even if you're an LLC, you're piercing the LLC veil.
It's a fun term we like to use.
A fun term, piercing the veil.
I don't know if you can hear it, but when we say it, we italicize it.
We do. Italicize.
That's how we tell, if it's a term of art.
Yeah.
Proper term of art.
Yeah.
So, but it's unreal how many people don't understand that subtle thing. I've got my own business. It's my money. I need to go buy groceries. I need to go, pay the cable bill at home.
Yeah.
Can somebody write me a check out of the LLC account? And even if you write it to yourself and then put it in your own account, write it, you haven't properly distributed that money.
Right.
There's a process to take that money out. A lot of people don't understand it. I will say that you simplified the process of creating an LLC. And there's a lot of people out there that will tell you it's just that easy online or on the radio. But it's really not that easy to structure things the way they need to be structured.
To keep that.
So in order to actually protect the integrity of that entity.
Especially if you have partners.
Yeah.
Ooh, especially.
Well, in books and all those things that you have to put in place in order to to get the things done the way they need to be done. So just waking up one day and saying, "Hey, I'm going to go create an LLC." The registry of what's that thing called where you check the registered businesses? Like
sure,
registry.
Yeah.
There's tons of administratively closed LLCs or corporations or various companies that someone had this great idea one day, and then shortly thereafter they didn't do it, and it was necessary to maintain it. And they either closed it themselves or the secretary closed it after people didn't keep up with what was necessary. So there are some things that you have to do in order to protect the integrity of that. Again, I have XM on in the radio in our office pretty regularly, and there's one of the advertisers. One of the advertisers we hear sort of echo through the office every now and then is some online, in 10 minutes we can create your LLC. Well, yeah, you can also create a world of hurt if you don't get it properly explained and understood and again go through those lines. My sister did that. She was trying to protect a business interest that she had at one point and did something through LegalZoom and then when she called them back to ask her a question, they were quick to say, well, we can't answer that because we're not attorneys. And we can't really tell you what you need to do about taxes and what kind of taxation you committed to.
Paperwork service.
Yeah. No. So, don't discount the fact that there is some thought process, and it's a good idea to talk to somebody about what you're trying to accomplish. I mean, that's, I think, in most of our worlds.
Yeah, that's huge.
What is it that you want to accomplish, and we'll connect the law.
Yeah.
It may be an LLC. It may be, but going back to your artist, it may be a sole proprietorship. Once a year, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to macrame People still macrame?
What is
I'm gonna macrame.
What is it?
It's like decoupage or something.
It's like the strings, and you do a little.
Okay.
So I'm gonna macrame a bunch of plant holders, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna sell them at Christmas because last year when I gifted them at Christmas, everybody loved them.
Mm-hmm.
So I've still got my twine.
At least they acted like
Right,
it.
exactly. Oh, this is the greatest gift ever. I
Is
know.
it still at their house?
Right, yeah. Where is that?
It magically
Where
pops
was that
out when
plant?
people show up.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a line between hobby and a self-contained sort of sole proprietorship, and then when you really get serious about making money, then it's good to structure it and have a good plan.
Do it right.
So anyway,
Cool.
some thoughts there. Justin Savage joined us. You were just reading about Justin's thing
Oh
on
yeah,
the front.
this
On the sign.
fitness.
I did put that on my
sign.
calendar, so it's on my calendar. It's
We're going to the
penciled
call out,
How
the
do you
Pure
guys-
Fat Weight
how do-
Loss Challenge.
How do you guys know Justin?
Justin is a friend of mine for a number of years, actually.
in. And we had a booth next to him.
Yeah, we were at
the
the-
summer. The
500 turkeys,
Yeah.
Turkey
Turkey
Palooza.
Palooza.
So,
Yeah.
and he showed me a wagon full of what I shouldn't be carrying.
Yeah.
At one point, he
5
said,
pounds of fat. Like,
I don't have enough of these 5-pound representations of fat to show you how much you're carrying. You don't need to.
Well, I hope that I can come to the meeting on December 27th, and then wake up in March.
Yeah.
And voila.
Exactly.
Voila. And
Be
I can just
under
like
his-
put out the rest of
Right.
everything else out of my mind.
Be underneath his inventory of fat representation.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So,
I gotta
that's
do
my goal.
something. I gotta try it
I do
out.
too.
Well, you were
Okay.
talking about spin class, put like the seed in my head that I need
I
to
did.
possibly join the Y.
in the
'cause
class. That's right.
I do love a good spin
It was good.
class.
That wore me
Yeah.
out. The problem was it ruined my whole day because I went in the morning at like 8:30.
That's supposed to energize you for
I
the
know,
day. It's like,
right?
Oh, it
Get you
wore,
going.
I mean, 60 minutes nonstop on the bike, man. I mean,
60
it
minutes.
wore
Gosh.
me out. I went home
Yeah.
and I got a shower. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go work, and I was like, I was out for like an hour, and then got up and tried to get some work done. And before you know it, the day gets away.
do they have do they have the option where you can get the beach cruiser seats on your bike?
No.
Or
No,
the
I
tandem.
like that.
So
Yeah,
you
No,
can
yeah.
take breaks.
That's what we could get this tandem
Yeah,
bike.
So you can take breaks.
You're sitting softly for a few days
Oh man,
afterwards. Yeah.
you need to wear your bike shorts.
I don't know. I'm sure that would help.
Bike shoes.
But it was, I will say, it was a very good workout, and I was very tentative walking around and going downstairs because I didn't want to fall because my legs were jello. But
Yeah.
it was really good workout.
I told him I would go for the spin class that was just a leisurely cruise along the beachfront, like we did at Mackinac Island. You know, I got my 8.2 sticker. That's
The basket. You know,
yeah,
the basket,
exactly.
right,
We had
yeah.
those, and we had our, you took a little leisurely cruise around. And,
I like the ones where you have like
whatever it is,
the
the
video
highway.
screen, and you're on the stationary bike on the video screen that's like taking you through.
yeah. The Peloton,
Sort
of
of
course.
fun,
I'm like,
yeah.
oh, do they have? Can I go back to Mackinac? I just like cruise around the. I don't think they
There you
have
go.
that.
Well,
probably have that
glad he
option.
joined us. We'll look forward to hopefully being a success in that this winter.
There you go.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I wasn't seeing any of the comments. So I'm
So
not-
he just he just posted the thing about the 27th. So
Oh, great.
Yeah,
it's
it's on
5:30 to 8
schedule.
at Avalon Manor.
Avalon.
So I know it's on my calendar.
fantastic.
It's been there for a while. It's something he started.
It's all the way out in
I don't
Maryland.
even know how many years ago it was now, Justin.
If
But
I recall from the thing, it was a while.
it's
a while.
been Well, it was back when I was still doing radio because before I left, we did sort of a debrief after they had done it, and it's it's like a ministry calling for him. It's just
It's awesome.
this is his
Yep.
background. He's been a competitive bodybuilder in the past, and he started helping people sort of one-on-one with food plans and exercise routines and things, and it's
That's great.
such a mess of things when you try to actually go out and do that, and so he was successful just sort of one-on-one with people, and his his goal is really to get the fat off, burn that fat. So it's not just about
That's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I've got plenty to burn.
Might join you
There's a way to
guys.
sort of recoup it into like
I was
energy
going to say, can
for
you?
the city. I could light
Yeah.
my neighborhood.
Well, there is, but that's called the Matrix.
4th year coming up.
It would
The major-
pop you in there and become a human battery.
Yeah, exactly.
But
That's
I'm not ready to go there.
Yeah, well, strategically, if I could just burn off a few things. But so
that's called
we'll-
liposuction, and that doesn't last.
We were talking about this, and I think every time it comes up, like we're shocked that this is coming up to the end of the year.
I know.
Like we're in December.
So
it's like tearing.
Yeah.
We're meeting with an attorney that we're going to be working with going forward, and it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna get this done by the end of the year.
Yeah,
hey, we had 3 weeks.
That term by the end of the year, just a substantial.
Now it's by the end of the month. That's
it's an illusion by the end of the year.
Right.
It makes you feel like you got a lot of time.
That's what we were having that conversation, and Isaac's like, oh yeah, and Isaac, that's like 5 weeks. You know?
Like, it hit me. I was like,
that was a couple weeks ago.
What?
Like, wait, what? Oh,
so you got those end of year things that you need to do. There's a lot of things that people start to worry about. And, a few years ago, the big question was what was going to happen to the tax code, and here we sit again. Maybe not as punitive as the concern was losing the unified tax credit. That was the concern in 2012. I did actually see somebody break down, and I have said previously that estate taxes weren't being addressed in this conversation. They have been sort of dragged into the conversation.
Oh, they have.
But they're, again, the Senate and the House have different things. So we'll see what actually comes out of it. I still wouldn't spend a bunch of money making plans on it at this point.
It's like you get those houses and like
stock market,
it's like throwing stuff into a meat grinder but close your eyes so you don't know exactly what's going in.
Yeah.
Don't want to see how
and then when it comes out you say, no, it's burger because I know I put meat in there.
Right, yeah. Ground something. Yeah. So yeah, we'll see what they're still promising to get it done by Christmas, so we'll see what actually happens, and then maybe we'll talk about it on the tips from the bar. I did try to read the House bill.
Well, but the House. So, the House bill was substantially different.
Yeah.
I mean, the House passed over, and then the Senate, and then now it's back in the House.
Well, now they have a conference committee.
Yeah.
So they get to all get together and knock each other over the head and say, this, that, and the other.
Yes.
So there will be something that comes out. And, unfortunately, it's going to be completely one party.
Yeah.
Rather than everybody sort of playing ball together. That's the downside of it. But,
this is cool. So I love technology. So I just went to Justin's Facebook page and I'm like, oh, my friends Steven and Shannon are friends with him on there, and Missy's friends with him, and it's like, oh wow, great, everybody. Okay.
Yeah. He's touched a lot of folks with that program. I know he and I met through the banquet community initially, and have continued to grow our friendship and such through the process. He and I have been meeting last few Mondays. We've been talking about some strategic things working together going forward. So
great.
His the pure fat loss challenge. I was wanting to flip
you
another
don't
word
want to pause between those. The pure fat challenge.
You don't pause fat loss challenge. Pure fat. That would be
just pure fat.
If there was a website,
challenge.
But
I won.
he has a wealth advisor business that he's shifting himself into some new things there too. But this was just something he does on the side.
Awesome.
And
I'm excited for
a cool thing. A lot of folks.
I was hoping to
you'll see Facebook, proliferated with people, blasting through this.
So I was hoping to
with the New Year's
have prepared a little bit before December, and I was hoping to get down the weight a little bit.
No, I'm going the other way.
And then just because I've done it, it's not like it's like losing things. I went once and then ate for like 3 days to recoup the energy I lost.
Yeah, we will have to talk to Justin about the fact that this is work related.
Yes.
Right. These don't count.
This have to figure out how to incorporate that into the.
The hard part. Here's the hard part for me is that with kids in the house, it's really hard to, have the dietary stuff that I need to do, and without forcing them to be like, okay, you have to eat sticks and twigs with me.
Yeah. I don't think, but his plan isn't sticks and twigs plan.
I don't think so.
No, his plan is not. It's.
that's what I'm interested to see what it is. Yeah.
It's probably not a gallon of ice cream.
Well, I never do that. It's only a bowl.
Well, let's let him tell us what it's going to be. Because if he says the gallon of ice cream's okay.
Yeah, because I think it's not
sherbet.
It is not so
sorbet
jarring to your system that you couldn't continue it beyond the 12-week program.
No, that's fine. I have no problem doing that. I'm just
maybe just making all that up. And Justin's going to bop me over the head and go, what are you talking about? No, you're eating.
Why are you
sitting in front of his keyboard just like, no.
Are you not watching my comments? I had him on the radio after the first year he did it, and we were talking about it. I think when he did it the first year, they actually had the initial call out such at First Naz and
really?
Valparaiso, and but so he had talked about it on the backside. So I think he did a number of like pounds of whatever. He had some metric collectively of how much fat had been disposed of in the world. Where's that go? Is it like going to clog up the ocean?
Made
or
into
something
soap.
like that?
I don't know.
This is not Fight Club.
Oh, right. Oh, never mind.
At least we don't talk about it then.
Right, exactly.
We don't talk about it.
So, so watch for the next couple of weeks. We'll see what happens with the tax plan and keep you all attuned to that. If there's anything that jumps out that we think you should do before the end of the year, we'll certainly keep you up to date with that. And year-end sort of stuff. If we were just talking about this with the other attorney that we're talking about, there's folks that have done planning. Somebody just said this to me. There was a will from 40 years ago that, is that still good? It actually is, until it's been either revoked or updated. So if life's changed a little bit and you need to revisit some things, certainly.
Absolutely. What about that handwritten will that I just made by myself?
Gosh, I'm pretty sure that's not valid.
No, that's not valid?
That would qualify under nope.
Yeah, nope. We just heard about a court case going down that road, and I'm not sure how that's not moot because
it's been sufficiently decided.
First line of the probate when referencing wills is a written document.
Mm-hmm.
So
not what's called holographic.
Not holographic. I'm not sure what that word means, but we see it as handwritten.
We see it as handwritten. That's generally what it means.
And one of the things that came up in the research, because I've been reading a lot of statutes the last couple of days, is that there's and I never understood where this word came from, but it's non-cupative, which is a word. It is a will that is, it could be verbal, but it is done if you have peril that will result in your death. You have to have a fear of dying from the immediate situation.
I remember this vaguely in law school. Someone was trapped,
exactly.
Tractor,
Yeah. But even that,
Professor Stewart,
it has to be right. Exactly. It was
Dean Stewart.
Dean Stewart. Shut up.
It was. It has to be. Let's see. It can be verbally, shared, but then that has to be put in writing. Memorialized in writing. That's what I was trying to think of. And brought into probate within 6 months. Mm-hmm. And if you don't die from that thing that you were afraid of, it doesn't count. Right. So you could be eminently thinking you're going to die, and then you don't die from that. You walk across the street and get hit by a car. That doesn't count. Right. That whole will is out, and it can only deal with a certain amount of personal property.
Yeah.
So real property, your house, things like that don't matter. It's only a couple $1,000s in personal property.
Not to change subjects, but Justin commented on it. I'm going to, so Justin's going to be on the radio tomorrow, not 10:30, I think. And he said so far his group in the 4 years, we said?
Oh, that 14? No, I think it's gone in that group. I think that first year.
1,434 pounds.
Yeah, so I knew he kept some stat there. Yeah, so.
That's got to be like for 4 years.
So he'll be on with
that one group that makes sense because you're talking, so much weight per person. That's impressive.
Frank Guzzo.
I am hoping to
personally radio show at 93.5 here in Valparaiso. So that's if you want to listen to Justin talking about this. 93.5. It's a small signal. You got to be in Valpo to get it, but or east of town, not west of town. If you go west, it'll turn into
something
Mexican urban. It's a Mexican urban station out of Joliet. But yeah, it's Valpo and east. You can get WITW. The station I used to run. 93.5 tomorrow at 10:30. Justin and Frank will be on there talking about the pure fat loss challenge.
So, if anybody's watching this after the fact, let us know if this is a good time slot or if we should go for longer, if a half an hour is too short. Mm-hmm. Or give us an idea. Give us any tips. If you think, I'd like to see this,
tips on the bar.
Tips for tips on the bar. If there's anything you'd like to see, if there's any questions you have, if there's any comments or anything, let us know.
Yeah, we'd love.
We're here for you guys. We're trying to help you out and try to open up and make the law a little bit more relatable if we can. So we have fun with it. We hope you do too.
Yeah.
As always, drop your notes. Visit our website, ccskaw.com. CCSKLaw.com.
There you go.
You sound like it came out of my mouth, right?
How much cider have you had?
Yeah, right. You can always leave a comment in the video here.
If he slurs them, please put it in italics.
Yeah.
It's just we'll feel a joke. It's not slurring. It's called speaking in cursive.
Oh yeah, that's what it is.
I get it now. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you very much for joining us, everybody.
Yeah, thanks for watching Tips from the Bar. We'll be back next Tuesday. Have a great evening.